guys. So we're going to do our first activity. Actually, I'm going to make this into one video for task 1 and task 2 because I don't think task 1 will take you very long. So for the vocab, you're going to define the 2 words below. Science. What in the world could science be? Oh, I'm going to show you a little trick that Madison showed me. If you highlight the word and then put define science, we'll have the definition over here. Okay. It might define science. The intellectual and practical activity encompassing the systematic study of the structure and behavior of the physical and natural world. So I am going to simplify this and call it the study of the structure and behavior of the physical and natural world through observation and experiment. I'm going to highlight this so I don't forget. Revolution. We know this is a major change in ideas. Or government structure. Let's double check that. Not that that's not what it is, but just see if we missed any part of the definition. So it says that revolution. Oh, you won't define it for me? Okay, let's go over here. What is revolution? Revolution is a forcible overthrow of the government or an instance of revolving in favor of a new system. And so in this case, in the scientific revolution and political science revolution, a sudden change. And so for our assignment, we're going to say a major change in ideas or government, but for the scientific revolution, we're specifically talking about ideas. I don't like that this is not the same color, so I'm going to change it to the same color. All right, next we are going to do task 2, Intro to Scientific Revolution and Notes. So we've got a reading link here. I'm going to look at my questions. It separates it into 3 sections. So there's early science, medieval science, and scientific revolution begins. So in this section, there are going to be 2 words that we need to define, Ptolemy and geocentric universe. And then we're going to summarize that section in a couple sentences. We're going to do the same for medieval science. It wants us to define astronomy and scientific revolution and then summarize that section. For scientific revolution begins, we've got 4 terms: heliocentric universe, Copernicus, Galileo Galilei, heresy, and then we're going to summarize that section. So let's get to reading. I'm going to make this larger so that I can see it. What is science? Science is an organized study of the physical world. Scientists study the physical world to determine how things work. Over time, humans have improved the way they study the world. A big change occurred in the 1500s with the beginning of the scientific revolution. Early science. The people of ancient civilizations developed science to solve problems. They used mathematics to keep records. People who studied the movement of stars developed astronomy. The science helped people keep time and decide when to plant crops. I know that that's one of my terms, so I'm going to pull the movement of the stars as the definition of astronomy, the study of the movement of stars. Oh, that's medieval science. Study of the movement of stars. Okay. The ancient Greeks and Romans made scientific advances. For example, they began to gather facts about plants and animals. When they classified living things by arranging Then they classified living things by arranging them into groups based on their similarities and differences. However, they did not conduct scientific experiments. They did not test their new ideas and figure out which ones were true. Instead, they based their conclusions on common sense, which led to many false beliefs. For example, Ptolemy, an ancient Egyptian astronomer, stated that the sun and the planets moved around the earth. His geocentric or earth-centered theory was accepted in Europe for more than 1400 years. So now we know who Ptolemy is. I'm going to go and I'm going to paste without formatting so that I don't have to do the thing again. And then he believed in geocentric universe, which is where the earth, let me go back to the reading, sorry. Where the earth is in the center of the universe. So that theory is that everything, all the planets, all the sun and everything revolves around the earth, which is not what we believe to be true today. Okay. So now let's keep reading. We're looking for scientific revolution next. Medieval science. During the Middle Ages, most Europeans were interested in religious ideas. Few people were interested in studying nature. They based their scientific ideas on two main sources, the writings of ancient Greece and Rome, and the teachings of the Catholic Church. Most people believed the earth was flat and that the earth stood at the center of the universe. They did not think it was necessary to research the facts and draw their own conclusions. During the Renaissance and Reformation, people began to question the Catholic Church and the people who held power in Europe. Then, in the 1400s, the voyages of exploration exposed Europe to new lands. They started to create better charts, maps, and tools to improve navigation. Over time, scientific knowledge began to expand in Europe. This new way of thinking led to the Scientific Revolution. The Scientific Revolution was a time period when changes occurred in how Europeans understood science and how they searched for knowledge. There we go. There's our definition for scientific revolution. We're looking for heliocentric universe, Copernicus, Galileo Galilei, and heresy. The scientific revolution first affected astronomy, the science that studies the planets and the stars in the universe. Actually, that's a better definition than the one that I put earlier. So let's go back and put this new definition. I'm going to make this text smaller so I'll have room to write my summary. As this new way of doing science evolved, it challenged traditional beliefs and caused conflict between scientists and religious beliefs. The scientific revolution. Europeans had believed in the geocentric universe for more than 1,400 years. The church believed that this view agreed with what the Bible said. At the beginning of the 1500s, however, scientific knowledge increased. Nicholas Copernicus, a Polish astronomer, disagreed with Ptolemy. He proposed a heliocentric or sun-centered universe. According to Copernicus, the Earth and planets revolved around the sun, which stayed still. He realized these ideas could cause conflict with the church, so he kept his work secret and did not publish his work until he was near death. So let's go Copernicus. The heliocentric universe is the sun-centered universe. Copernicus was a Polish astronomer who came up with that idea. Galileo Galilei made the next great discovery of the scientific revolution. He believed that conducting experiments was the correct way to achieve new scientific knowledge. He also believed that scientific tools could help humans explore the natural world better. He heard about an early telescope and designed one of his own. Using the telescope, he found evidence that supported Copernicus's heliocentric universe. When he published his findings in 1532, the church charged him with heresy or anti-church teachings. In spite of the church's position by the 1630s and 1640s, most astronomers had come to accept the heliocentric universe. As time went on, discoveries about gravity, the human body, and measuring temperature would unfold. As people began asking questions and experimenting, more discoveries were made. All right, we've got our last two definitions. So Galileo was a person who invented telescope. He found evidence that supported Copernicus's ideas, and heresy is anti-church teachings. All right, next you guys are going to go through and summarize each section. Remember, in your summary, you're looking for the main ideas and kind of what that section was talking about. So we can go back to this